From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordo, and this is your News 8 Daily for Friday, May 30th. Starting pretty soggy out there this morning. Rain's going to stick around, then have a bit of a lull throughout the day. Chance, though, for storms even possible tonight. But hey, here's the good news. Really beautiful, warm weather for this weekend.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cash back really adds up.
Saturday will be a winning day, and kick out the Knicks, and they're going bye-bye.
Fans still have faith, but last night was not the Pacers' night. The Knicks' Jalen Brunson scored 32 points. The Pacers had their worst offensive game of the playoffs, losing in New York 111-94. The Pacers can still clinch a spot in the NBA Finals at home tomorrow. News 8's Andrew Chernoff gets a blunt assessment from the coach and optimism from the Stars.
Good morning from Madison Square Garden, where it was a tough night for the Pacers last night as they fell by 17 points to the Knicks in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The blue and gold never led in the contest last night, and the Knicks dominated, out-rebounding the Pacers, outscoring them by 26 in the paint. Oh yeah, Tyrese Halliburton also had a quiet night, scoring just 8 points after going 2 of 7 from the field. Despite all that, Indiana still has a 3-2 series lead as it gets ready for Game 6 back in Indy.
To start the game, we just didn't have the right level of force, the right level of attitude necessary, in this environment. And so, it was a bad start. We never had a lead in the game. And so, there were a multitude of things that were going wrong. And there were stretches during the game where we got a little bit of traction, but never enough.
There's going to be times where, a team is going to play hard, like they're going to beat you. And that happened, and it's fine. And I think that our team has just been so excellent. I just bounced it back, and I'm proud of every single guy on our team. And we fought tonight, and they were the better team. I mean,
we're a resilient group. We always want to respond when things don't go well. After a game like that, we understand what the stakes are, and we understand the conversation, what it will be around our group. But we're fine. We're fine. There's no need to panic or anything. It's a tough loss.
The Pacers have bounced back after losses this season. In fact, the last time the Pacers lost 2 straight games was back in March when they lost 3 straight. Since then, there has not been a losing streak. Indiana is hoping that trend continues on Saturday night. In New York City, I'm Andrew Chernoff, Wish TV and WishTV.com.
A new report appears to clear the mayor of Indianapolis and his administration of breaking any rules in how they handled sexual harassment claims against Joe Hogsett's former chief of staff, Thomas Cook. News 8's Raina Revel looks at the results of the investigation and the questions that remain.
This investigation examined Mayor Hogsett's response to complaints against his former chief of staff, Thomas Cook. He resigned in 2020 after admitting to an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate. Cook did not respond to interviews before this report.
A lot to digest, a report over 50 pages long, lots of text, not a lot of white space. So it's going to take some time to go through that and give time and attention to some of those findings. But we heard the top line recommendations and findings tonight, and the true work begins now.
The law firm Fisher Phillips has interviewed numerous people and reviewed more than 1,000 pages of documents as part of its investigation. As we've reported, Cook was the center of 3 separate sanctions between October 2017 and October 2023. He resigned shortly after. The report found Mayor Hogsett and his administration's response to complaints did not violate city-county policy. But questions still remain about the 68-day window Cook was still employed with the city.
There are definitely some recommendations that we saw in the report to take a closer look at the time period between when Thomas Cook was determined to be fired and when he was actually terminated.
During the committee hearing, 3 women who made sexual harassment allegations against Mayor Joe Hogsett's former chief of staff were present and holding protest signs.
I went into this very skeptical that we would actually get anything done, and I wish we could have had a better outcome for the survivors and the people to know that we're not just hiding behind what laws say, that we have an ethical and moral code as well that we will try to abide by. And what we saw was that didn't really happen here. Didn't happen at all. I didn't know anything going into this. I'm disappointed also in the fact that we were left in the dark all along on how this reporting went and what went into this investigation. We didn't really ever get any answers on to how they're conducting the investigation and what kind of search terms they use for emails, and it would have been nice to have been a little more informed on what was going into this.
Now, there was a lot that was discussed in this 54-page report. If you would like to take a look at it for yourself, we made it very easy for you to find. Just look for this story where you'll find a link to that report. I'm Raina Revel for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
Hogsett is reacting to the report through a statement saying, in part, "It remains crucial that the city has the best system in place for reporting, investigating, and dealing with harassment of any kind, which is why I will work with the City County Council on how these recommendations may further strengthen efforts to create a safer, better workplace for everyone throughout the city's operations." In Greenwood, police have arrested a man they say started 3 apartment fires yesterday morning. They all happened within 1 mile of each other within 30 minutes at around 8 in the morning. They were near US 31, not far from the Greenwood Park Mall. The fires were at the Westminster Apartments, the Polo Run Apartments, and Auburn Place Apartments. Police say 50-year-old Ronnie Brasher was taken into custody on a preliminary charge of arson. Greenwood police say they were able to use video from the area to locate him as a suspect. Then officers arrested Brasher at the Greenwood Public Library branch on South Madison Avenue. One man tells News 8 that he immediately jumped into action to keep his family safe.
First instinct was to get everybody out the house, get all the kids out, get my family out. You know, it's definitely was a dangerous situation. It could have got a lot worse.
Firefighters say there were no major injuries from the fires. The Greenwood Fire Department has not said what was used to start the fires. The Indianapolis Colts have released a full obituary for their late owner, Jim Irsay, ahead of next week's funeral service. It talks about Irsay's leadership both on and off the field. It reads in part, "Jim's generosity can be felt across Indianapolis, the state of Indiana, and the country. He made philanthropy a daily endeavor and never hesitated to help friends, fans, and neighbors live better lives." Irsay died last week at the age of 65. His private funeral is scheduled for Monday. You can read the full obituary on WishTV.com. Just find this story in the As Seen On section. Wish TV is your education station. Indiana University says it will consider a 2-year freeze on tuition for in-state undergraduate students. The university says the Board of Trustees will hold a public forum on the proposal on Bloomington's campus. It will be in about 2 weeks on June 12th. The proposal comes at the same time that IU says it plans to cut around $100 million from its budget because of shrinking state and federal funding. A release from the university says trustees will also consider a tuition increase of up to 2% for graduate students, with some exceptions in health and medical fields. Now let's go to Jane King with your business headline. She starts with a food recall.
This is 250,000 pounds of Hormel beef stew is being recalled for possible wood pieces in the food, Scott and Hannah. So this recall includes 20-ounce metal cans of the Dinty Moore beef stew that was shipped to retail locations nationwide. 3 consumers complained of the presence of wood chips in the cans. Now, the stew is subject to recall, should not be consumed, and should instead be thrown away or returned to where you bought it to get a refund. Well, a Cars.com report reveals U.S. assembled vehicles now cost more than Canadian and Mexican imports. It says U.S. built vehicles cost $53,000 on average, pricing out many buyers. And the Trump administration imposed a separate 25% tariff on auto parts, so things like engines and transmissions and electrical components. Now, this means even those vehicles that are manufactured domestically are affected by the higher cost of the imported parts, barring an exemption made for parts that comply with the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. And the job market showing some signs of cracking, perhaps. The Labor Department says weekly jobless claims increased to 240,000 from 266,000. It was higher than expected, and that could be tied to companies preparing for tariffs. And we are in the thick of the home buying season, and a fresh survey from Bank of America reveals uncertainty among home owners and home buyers is at a 3-year high. Now, 60% of respondents say they can't tell if it's a good time to buy a home or not. B of A also found that Gen Z and millennials still want to buy homes. They're making sacrifices to make that happen. 30% have taken a second job. And then also many of the potential home buyers say they have bought a home with their brother or sister. Okay, stocks rose on strong earnings from the AI company NVIDIA. Still a lot of nervousness, though, about tariffs as they work their way through the court system. This morning, we're shaping up for a slightly lower start. Live from the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jane King. Back to you.
An effort that started with the Fishers Police Department is looking for help across the state to pack squad cars with help for others. Law enforcement agencies are partnering with Kroger to feed the hungry this summer. News 8's Colin Bailey went to a Kroger in Fishers and tells us it's one of several locations where people can help.
Yeah, this location, 116th and Allisonville Road, is one of the 3 locations here at Fishers where you can help pack those cruisers, and also across Hamilton County as well. We have the man who started this packed cruiser, Dean Muha. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. We have a card in front of us. These are kind of some of the items that you're looking for people to help shop for. But talk about this event. You started it 9 years ago.
Yeah, it's a great event for the community to be involved in. Along with the police department and the summer lunch program that impacts the summer lunch program for HSC schools. So it's a great program for everyone to be involved in.
Talk about the growth. This obviously stretches across here in Hamilton County, and it's reached now across the state of Indiana into Illinois as well. Did you ever think it would grow this much?
No, the first year I did not know what we would expect. We actually started with the 3 stores here in Fishers the very first year, and we quickly learned that we're going to need a lot more police cars the way we pack those cruisers out. Then we expanded, throughout Hamilton County and then throughout the state, and now we're in Illinois and Ohio as well.
So tomorrow, 10 a.m. it kicks off. It runs until 2 o'clock. What does that look like when people show up to help? How does that process look like to make sure that you guys have these items to send over to where you need to get them to?
So you'll see police officers at the entrances of the stores. Don't be alarmed. They're here for a good reason. So if you see officers, come on out, talk to them. They'll give you a list of items that are requested for the summer lunch program. And all you have to do is just purchase them and hand them out to the officers as you leave the store.
What's your favorite part of tomorrow?
It's just seeing the community interaction and the support that we get from everyone. It's good for them to see that we are actually out here doing other things than your typical police work that people usually imagine that we're doing.
Thanks for joining us this morning. I appreciate it. Again, tomorrow a.m., 10 o'clock, it starts to run until 2 o'clock. These are some of the items we're looking for happening here in Hamilton County in all 3 Fishers locations. But for now, here in Fishers, I'm Colin Bailey for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
Eclairci small. Eclairci small.
ECLAISSEMENT. Eclairci small. That is correct.
With that word, Faison Zaki dropped to the ground, realizing he won the 100th Scripps National Spelling Bee. It was redemption since the 13-year-old from Texas finished second last year. Competition says Faison now gets to take home a trophy and a $50,000 cash prize. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on Wish TV and WishTV.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.